What's up, guys? So, welcome to Playfiend. I'm Ruben Bastos, a Portuguese architect and firefighter, and today we are gonna do some Call of Duty United Offensive review. So we can close this playlist. Before we get started, I wanna thank all my viewers and subscribers for their awesome support. I won't be doing this almost every day, except the weekends. Without them, I mean, I probably would, but they help a lot. So, big thanks to them. Having said that, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can join our little but outstanding community. And if you don't know already, I do gameplays on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and I do some reaction videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Tuesdays I react to some firefighting content, and on Thursdays I react to some architecture stuff. I guess being both an architect and firefighter qualifies me to say something about these kind of subjects. Maybe. Having said that, and with all of that out of the way, let me get this thing started. So, you know the deal. Grab something to eat, preferably with low calories, because health comes first, right? And get someplace comfortable, like that sofa in your living room, and let's get on with this. Let me just shrink my head a bit and make it small. So, Call of Duty United Offensive came out about a year after the original Call of Duty. So it was 2004. The original, I think it was 2003, so it makes this 2004. And it's an kind of expansion pack to it. However, the gameplay is kind of the same, but with a few adjustments. I really recommend you guys to check out my review of Call of Duty 1 in this channel. I'm gonna leave the link in the description below, because most of what you need to know about Call of Duty United Offensive is related to that. And well, I'm not gonna repeat myself. Forgive me in advance for the unreasonable amount of times that I say especially in that first review. I'll try to cut it out a bit in this video, but it's not easy. I use it a lot. I say that a lot. Whatever. I'm going off subject here. So Call of Duty United Offensive, despite being an expansion pack, is as long as the original game, and it kind of looks more like a sequel than an expansion pack. It could be called Call of Duty 2 except for a few details. It is a PC exclusive, so well, guys on console couldn't have experienced it, and like every Call of Duty since then, since the first one has been published by Activision. However, it was developed by Grey Matter Interactive in association with Pi Studios. I think it's the only entrance these studios made in Call of Duty series. I'm not sure of that, but I really think because after it was Infinity War, Triarch and Sledgehammer, all the things I talked about in the first Call of Duty review. So, in terms of graphics, Call of Duty United Offensive has the same engine as the original, and they use the same base, being one of the differences, some touches in the physics, a little bit stuff, and some smaller changes in the gameplay. But in the physics, for example, the explosions in Call of Duty 1 were kind of V-shaped with something going up in the middle. You can see in my first Call of Duty 1 video, I actually talk about it a bit doing the obstacle course. So in United Offensive they are no longer that. It's kind of more like more approximate how do I say this, more realistic explosion. It explodes kind of uniform to the sides, and also the AA, the anti-aircraft weapon, shooting is different. It feels more realistic. It doesn't seem like a rifle being fired at the sky at some airplanes. You can actually see the smaller bursts in the air when the ammo is supposed to explode. So it's kind of more realistic in that way. So some newer mechanics have also been introduced into the gameplay in CoD UO, like they added a sprint function, which I really thought it was lacking on Call of Duty 1. The fact you couldn't sprint, you can only move at a certain pace. They changed that. They added a small sprint function. It's really small. You can run like 10 meters or something. And when you use this function, you can't fire weapons. The guy just retrieves the weapon, and which is kind of normal now. All games, when you sprint, you can't use the weapon. So also they added the ability of deploying an LMG, light machine gun. So you can now have a LMG, but you can't shoot it from the hip or from the shoulder. You have to find some cover and you can deploy it there. And it's a new thing, and it's a welcome thing. So, and you can now cook grenades, which is also a new feature. Before you couldn't, you just threw the grenade and waited a bit so it can explode. Now you can cook the grenade a bit. I don't think I have actually done it in the gameplay, but it's nice to know that there is that ability. Also, some enemies now appear holding a flamethrower, but I don't know if we as a player can use it. I personally haven't used it, but I read somewhere that you can use them. I don't know, you really should check that out, and if you know for a fact, leave it in comments. But yeah, there are flamethrowers now. I thought flamethrowers didn't exist in Call of Duty until Call of Duty World at War. So, well, I guess I was wrong. Speaking of flamethrowers and weapons, you know, 10 new weapons were introduced to the game, adding to the variety, and they were both introduced to the single player as the multiplayer. In the single player, I remember some rifles were introduced, some semi-automatic rifles. No longer, you still had the bolt action, but they added more semi-automatic. I didn't really enjoy them that much. I guess they weren't as effective because you can put more rounds on the enemy, so they diminished the damage of those, I think. In the multiplayer, the thing has been refined, so it was the birth of the multiplayer and that emphasis on the multiplayer that we now know. So I'm sorry. So the multiplayer it has the same 32 player base, but the maps are now larger, and they introduced a ranking system, kind of what every multiplayer game does now. So using your the word that comes to my mind is expertise, but it's not kind of your experience, exactly, XP, your experience. The more kills you get, less times you die, the more hours you play, you get a new ranking, and you get access to more OP stuff. So it's kind of normal now. You go to Warzone, for example, which is the big CoD game now, and it's that thing, you know. You start by 0 and you go all the way up, and you unlock new things, and it's kind of a reward-based system. And the thing is, I saw a video before. I think it was a video, or I read it somewhere, that this reward system is kind of what makes people addicted to the games. So you get something for your work, even if it is just a little thing. You get XP, you get a newer level, and that makes you keep on coming and keep on playing, so you can get even more higher. It's kind of a vicious cycle. It's the same as sugar. It does the same as sugar to your brain. It releases those endorphins and it gets you addicted. So going back to the subject, the multiplayer on Call of Duty United Offensive introduced 3 new modes: domination, base assault, and capture the flag. Yeah, that's it, capture the flag. All of these started to establish what's it's now kind of the accomplished multiplayer formula, that we are all used to. So yeah, it was CoD into making. So guys, in terms of the single player, which I obviously know a little bit more, and you too, if you have seen the videos, because I have played it in the channel. So in terms of the single player, it's kind of the same as before, having 3 separate campaigns with different characters, different scenarios, and having that lead particular background in the menu. Yeah, in the menu. So if you are in a campaign like a Soviet campaign and you go to the menu, main menu, you have a background image that is different than if you are in the UK campaign or in the American campaign. So I already said that it's the same as Call of Duty 1. So the first campaign of this game is the American one. This time it's just referring to a battle, which is the Battle of the Bulge in the Bastogne, and you see the return of some of the older characters from the original Call of Duty, like Captain Foley, Sergeant Moody, and Private Ender. The thing is with Private Ender is now for some reason Private Ender, because the guy was called Private Elder in the first one, and they changed that for some reason that I don't understand. But well, maybe it's not even the same guy, but well, it's kind of hard not to be. They just changed one letter of the name, but well, it may be the same guy, it may be other guy, who knows. They know, but well, the playable character in this campaign is Corporal Riley, Scott Riley, and like the previous one, is from the 101st Airborne Division, 506th Parachutist Parachutist Infantry Regiment from Baker Company, and well, it's kind of the same guy with a different name. But well, in the second campaign, which is the British one, we play as Sergeant James Doyle from the RAF, or at least he's from the RAF. Sorry again, in the beginning of the game. I usually don't talk this much. I'm a quiet person, so when I talk this much, my whole body is telling me to shut up. I'm sorry. I was saying it was from the RAF in the beginning of the campaign. Then I'm sorry, it was from the RAF in the beginning of the campaign, and you start the campaign in an airplane. It's a B-17 Flying Fortress, which I think is kind of wrong because it's a UK soldier, not an American one. And if you know anything about the history of the Second World War, the British were using the Lancaster bombers, and the Americans were using the B-17's Flying Fortress. The British would go doing their bomb raids at night, and the Americans would go doing that bomb raids at day. So maybe in the final time of the war it changed, but because the Luftwaffe was beaten. But the thing is, you are a British soldier in a B-17 doing a bombing mission during the day, so it seems kind of weird, but it can be true. I don't know. Whatever, right? No one cares. After you start the mission in the plane, which is kind of a novelty, and you get shut down. You parachute to, I think it was Dutchland, where the mission was being done, and you get rescued by Major Ingram from the first Call of Duty series, which is the old pal of Captain Price, but there is no Captain Price to be seen here, only Major Ingram. And you join the Dutch resistance as a SOE operative, yeah. And SOE stands for Special Operations Executive. It's like the predecessor of the CIA. So, and after doing some ground mission with the demolition stuff and sabotage, you get asked to join the SAS, where you got the highest score of the team, and you go join the SAS commandos, and you are taken to Sicily in Italy during the invasion of Sicily. Not during the invasion, is kind of a separate mission, but it's during the invasion of Sicily. So the UK campaign has a little bit more, how do I say, it's not just a battle like the other two, it's more blurred than that, and it's actually my favorite campaign of this game. Even from the CoD one, I think this game it's my favorite. So Sergeant Doyle and Major Ingram, I think, come back on Call of Duty 3. You actually see them again on Call of Duty 3, but despite that you don't see them before that. or after. The last campaign, it's the Soviet one, and we play as Private Yuri Petrenko. Yeah, he's a Soviet conscript from the 67th Guards Infantry Regiment. Yeah, I'm not used to the regiments of the Soviet Union, so. And is later transferred to a tank crew, so you have the same, you have one tank mission as the previous game. So the story of this campaign takes place in the Battle of Kursk, like the first one, like a bit of the first one. And alongside you there is Sergeant Antonov and Private Vasily, which I must say I never could identify it from the others. Sergeant Antonov, you pointed the weapon at the guy and it said clearly in green Sergeant Antonov. Private Vasily, I never saw them anywhere, but I hear, you know, the conversations the sergeant has, like Vasily and Yuri take that stuff or attack that house or something. So he was there, I just didn't know who he was, but well. The main character, Yuri Petrenko, I have this theory. If you know Call of Duty World at War, Call of Duty 5 World at War, the main character on that is called Dmitry Petrenko. So it's kind of a coincidence or not, because it's the same game. The guys know the deal, so maybe it's a brother or something, I don't know, a distant cousin, or every guy in the Soviet is called Petrenko. I don't know. So it can be related or not to Dmitry Petrenko from CoD World at War, but who knows again. And your Vasily, the guy who I never knew who he was, could or could be not related to the main character of Call of Duty 2. So who knows? They just use the names in every game or something just to throw us off. I don't know what's their intent. Overall, the game has been well received by the community and the critics. So he had a review of 8.7, which is a little bit lower than the original one, but it's still a high score. So I think it definitely granted them another game. So having all of these out of the way, let me just make my head big for this part. In my personal opinion, and I started to say that after this last play, I remember that I played the game a few times before when I was like 10 years younger than I am now, but I haven't played it as much as the original Call of Duty, so I didn't remember most of it, and it was kind of a novelty. when I played it this time. Still a bit of nostalgia, but I must say I really liked it, and I think I prefer it to the original one. I don't know, the characters are a little bit more developed. I think it's the word. Like I said, I especially like that United Kingdom mission campaign. I mean, so I don't know. Leave it in comments what you say, which one is better. I bet most of you are gonna say the original one is a bit better, but well, I have the right to have my own opinions. It's not science, is it? Goddamn doors, they don't know how to close doors, just shoving them. Crazy. Don't have respect. I'm sorry. I'm just saying you should give Call of Duty United Offensive a go someday. So guys, I'm sorry. I lost my thinking thing. But I am just finishing, so I really hope you have liked this video. These reviews videos, they are the one that take more work to do, because I have to do some research. I'm sorry. I have to do some research about them. So yeah, please subscribe and leave a like and give me your support, please. And if you are new, hit that notification bell, and if you aren't and you haven't, hit that notification bell for daily notifications about our daily content. Thank you again, all my subscribers and viewers, and please keep up the support. I'll see you next time. Bye.